Hi, and welcome to this special Outside the Box. We're pretty much going into the comfort zone for one of our regulars, and we're talking to Lewis of Potato Pro Wrestling. And
Hi.
if you wonder why, it's because the Wrestlemania is finally coming. And I just couldn't believe it's actually happening sooner, because I was kind of thinking like we could be covering this in the Out of the Box in the future, and I just realized that the WrestleMania is actually coming like right on the doorstep.
April 1st.
Yeah, April 1st.
April 1st and April 1st and April 2nd. It's not an April Fool's joke. We are actually getting wrestling on those days. April 1st, April 2nd, WrestleMania. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You may know me as Potato from X Marks the Box, but I am also Potato from Potato Pro Wrestling, a wrestling channel which has nearly 5,000 subscribers. Subscribe because we're nearly there, and I talk about wrestling on a weekly basis. That is my main YouTube channel. This is my secondary channel, but I do also love it very, very dearly. But I do talk about wrestling a lot. So Alice is a bit out of the loop when it comes to wrestling. You do follow it sort of, but I have a channel dedicated to it, and I talk about it every day and every week. And I'm kind of obsessed.
But I'm not really a stranger to it, because I heard a little bit of wrestling, saw a little bit of an animated show during the 90s. I've watched a lot of wrestling when I was like a teenager at school. So I watched a lot of SmackDown when it came on Sky. I didn't see.
I love SmackDown.
So I've just been following like The Rock, Triple H, and Kurt Angle, and all those bits. But I think, wrestling is pretty huge in the noughties, but then it's just now becoming a bit of more of a niche, but it's still huge as far as I know. Because I also follow your channel and checked out your reactions, and there's like Bray Wyatt, and there's also talk about Roman Reigns keep popping up. Yep. And I think I heard that Undertaker just left in such a huge climatic moment.
Yeah, Undertaker's not the best. So basically, this is our preview for WrestleMania, Hollywood WrestleMania 39. So I'm basically just trying to explain to you what's going on in WrestleMania, what the build-up is to this amazing event. Ooh, So what we were saying. So all the wrestlers you mentioned, unfortunately, all of them have retired. Triple H had a heart attack, and now he's booking the shows behind the scenes. The Rock is now in Hollywood.
Boss once.
Yeah, he was the authority figure. Now he's backstage as a boss. He writes the stories now because Vince McMahon was kicked out of the company for sexual harassment. So that was fun. Not great. Triple H writes the shows now, so the shows will be much better, much more coherent since he started writing them, which is great. WrestleMania, we are going into WrestleMania 39, the 39th big main event of wrestling, the biggest show of the year. Woo!
I heard of WrestleMania. I think it's pretty much like a Super Bowl, but it's where it has all those fantastic events in it.
Yeah. So the main event of this year's WrestleMania is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes was... So this is a long story. I'll try and get it as brief as I can. So Cody Rhodes is the son of Dusty Rhodes, who was a famous wrestler from the 70s, I believe.
It kind of rings a bell, actually.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, his name. He never won the WWE Championship, and that was one of his biggest regrets. And Cody, ever since he was a kid, has always wanted to win the WWE Championship for his dad. Unfortunately, his dad passed away a couple of years ago, so it's really sad. Yeah, Dusty, his dad, also trained a lot of the up-and-coming wrestlers of the last couple of years, including Roman Reigns, his opponent. So Roman Reigns is metaphorically the son that Dusty always wanted, or at least that's what he says in storyline, which is kind of messed up. So Roman Reigns is like being trained by Dusty, whereas Dusty's biological son is Cody. And that's like the main storyline going off between those two.
Oh, that's a huge one, actually. Yeah. I know it's a shame that it's not WrestleMania 40 because it comes out next year.
40 would be really good. The Rock's probably be on WrestleMania 40. We're imagining. So the other big storyline going into this is still Roman Reigns. He has his faction called the Bloodline, which is basically his Samoan brother. He has his cousins, the Usos, which is Jimmy and Jay, and his other cousins, Sokoa, and his friend Paul Heyman. They had their own team called the Bloodline, which is all like relatives and stuff. And they had Sami Zayn join the Bloodline, who is a Canadian guy, and then he got betrayed, and now they're trying to take down the Blood. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are trying to take down the Bloodline by taking out them, and Cody's trying to take out Roman. That's the main storylines going into WrestleMania this year. It's very, very dramatic, very Shakespearean. Like, there's a lot of backstabbing and betrayals and all sorts. Like, you were my brother, and all this stuff. A lot of cool stuff. It's worth watching some recap videos. It's really, really good stuff. Really well written. So then you got the women's matches. Charlotte Flair is been OP, been broken for years. She's basically, everyone hates her because she wins all the time. She beat Rhea Ripley 3 years ago, I think, and completely derailed all her momentum. So Rhea Ripley's got a rematch this year's WrestleMania. So everyone's hoping that she'll actually win this time, because if Charlotte wins again, that's going to completely derail Rhea Ripley's momentum again, unfortunately. Bianca Belair has been unstoppable champion for a while, but she's coming up against Asuka, who is a Japanese superstar who's fantastic and one of my favorites. She has like face paint and stuff, and she does the green mist. She spits mist in people's face and blinds them and stuff. John Cena's coming back to face Austin Theory, who's
that's another big one. Because I think
that's
John
a big
Cena's making the comeback.
Everyone knows John Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Austin Theory, basically, everyone compares him to a young John Cena. He's essentially like John Cena was 20 years ago. So that's pretty much what the match is. Like, I am the future, you are the past John Cena, basically. You've got Trish Stratus and Lita coming back to team up with Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. So you've got legendary female wrestlers teaming up with Becky Lynch, who's my favourite female wrestler, against Damage Control.
Yeah, I heard of Becky Lynch, though. Didn't she appear in a documentary film once?
Becky's doing lots of stuff.
Yes.
No, that's Paige, you think. Oh, Paige is Fighting With Your Family, which is a good film. Becky Lynch is the man, because the moniker of the man used to be a Ric Flair thing. It's like to be the man, you got to beat the man. And it's like saying you're the best in the company, you're saying I am the man. So then Becky Lynch was like, well, I'm the man, and it doesn't matter what gender I am, I'm still the most important and most overstar in the company. And Becky kind of broke down barriers that way. Is one of the best female wrestlers of the last 10, 20 years, I think. I love Becky. She's really good. Breaking down gender roles and stuff like that, which is great. There's a couple of other matches, like Finn Balor versus Edge is going to be Demon versus Demon and Hell in a Cell. That should be fun. Probably going to get Rey Mysterio versus his son in a match, because his son betrayed him, Dominic. Yeah. So it's funny, like years and years and years ago. Well, this is when you were watching wrestling, probably.
Yeah.
They had Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. The winner of the match in a ladder match. The winner won custody of Dominic Mysterio. There was like a custody battle with a ladder match. That was years ago, and Eddie Guerrero said he's biological father of Dominic. And no one ever mentions this anymore, because Dominic's now a real wrestler, and he's actually wrestling in WWE. He's now a grown man. So it's hilarious. But no, everyone always takes the piss. So yeah, he's betrayed his dad, and he's like saying, all my friends bought all my friends had Mercedes, and you bought me a BMW. You're a bad father. I'm like, what the hell? Well, okay. I was like, that was one of his arguments. I'm like, what is this child? Spoiled brat. So yeah, Rey Mysterio versus spoiled brat Dominic Mysterio is another big one as well. So yeah, this is rumors are we might get Austin, we might get Rock. A couple of people might show up, but those are the main matches. Cody versus Roman should be good, because Roman has been champion for 900 days, which is ridiculous. 3 years he's been champion.
Still raining over there.
Yeah. Yeah, the longest rain session. It's just raining. Yeah, so if you want to, I've done loads of videos about it on my channel. There's a video on my channel called "What Happens If Cody Wins" and "What Happens If Roman Retains." So I've written discuss about the options of what happens afterwards as well. So, so that's pretty much all of WrestleMania covered. Obviously, we might get some returns, might get some surprises.
Yes.
I'm excited for it. It should be a fun show. April 1st, April 2nd, in Florida, Hollywood. Florida.
I think in Hollywood. I think
Hollywood,
it's not
baby.
around Florida. I think Hollywood is actually around Las Vegas or some sort.
No, I don't know why I said that. That was my mistake. In Florida last year, I think. No, it's Hollywood this year. Hollywood. Hollywood. Da-da-da-da, Hollywood.
I literally thought it's going to be a film out of it, but whatever. But to be honest, I think it kind of look at this drama as like EastEnders type of thing.
It's very EastEnders.
Yes.
It's very soap opera because you've got, as I said, you got Sami Zayn joined the Bloodline, and then Roman Reigns wanted Sami to beat Kevin Owens up with a chair, and he refused to do it. So then he turned on Roman, and then the whole family turned on Sami Zayn, and then Sami, and then Jay was like, "You're a brother to me, Sami," and it's like they're like, "Oh, we're brothers. You broke my heart," and all this stuff. It's very dramatic, very Lion King, very Game of Thrones, very Hamlet.
Yeah, I think this is all exciting, really. Because
it's very good.
Because usually WrestleMania's like got the best events, and it's just like comparing it to EastEnders Christmas special, where you have the most dramatic moments into it.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, or the season finale of a big TV show. That's what it kind of is. This is like the last episode of the series of a TV show, and then the Monday afterwards, which is literally the next day, it's the start of a new season where they basically reboot everything, which is hilarious. I mean, I forgot to mention Brock Lesnar versus Omos, which is hilarious. Brock Lesnar, if you've probably heard of Brock Lesnar, he's one of the most decorated UFC fighters in the world. He's a freak of nature and he scares the crap out of me. He's the only person in real life that I would be scared to fight. He's scary dude. But he's facing Omos, who's like a 7 foot tall guy who can't wrestle, but he's just very tall, so he's just gonna get thrown around. And then there's Gunther, who's German, versus Drew McIntyre, who's Scottish, versus Sheamus, who's Irish. The Intercontinental Championship. That should be a fun one as well. Gunther is held that title for a long time as well. So there's some really good stuff. I'm really excited for all of it, really. Wrestling. Biggest event of the year. If you don't watch wrestling, most people if they're going to watch wrestling once a year, this is the show they watch. And I think they've done a good job this year building to it, because there's been a couple of WrestleManias the last couple of years that have been awful. This one seems to be really well paced and written, so I'm interested to see how this all pays off.
Let's hope for that, really. Now,
let's hope so.
I also like to mention, seeing this is on the gaming channel, were there any celebrations in the games? Like, there's 2K23, which is a sponsor of the WrestleMania, because I think there's likely some bits going on. So, have you heard of anything related that might be coming to that and other games?
So there's always WrestleMania and stuff on the games. So WWE 2K23 is the latest wrestling game. I've been playing it the last few days. It's a lot of fun. Xavier Woods from Up, Down, Down, and also The New Day is a wrestler. He has his own YouTube channel, which is called Up, Down, Down. If you like wrestling, it's all the wrestlers playing video games, basically. And they're just hanging out playing video games with each other, like Street Fighter or Uno and stuff like that. So if you ever wanted to check that out, that's a worthwhile thing for gamers. It's like they usually have fantasy. They have a WrestleMania fantasy version where they use WWE 2K23. That's usually before WrestleMania as well on Up, Down, Down. If you like wrestling and you like gaming, I would highly recommend my channel, PotatoProWrestling. But if that's otherwise, I would recommend Up, Down, Down, which is Austin Creed, aka Xavier Rhodes, aka a wrestler from the New Day, who has his own YouTube channel, which is gaming, which is awesome. Highly recommend it.
I would also like to add, I first heard of WrestleMania, it's being marketed And I know this is a video games during the 90s and probably the 80s as well, where they usually have Wrestlemania and you just turn into an actual game.
Yeah.
But now the wrestling is just more expanded, and it just became a much bigger sport in the gaming community. Because Wrestlemania is just like, well, in fact, wrestling in general is just pretty much a niche sport, but now it's just turned into a fully fledged sport.
True.
It just kind of like competes with like football and all those bits.
It's still it's the most. They still draw more people than they have ever done before. They're still making more money than they ever have as well. With TV rights and stuff, so they're very profitable at the moment. Even when the product was bad, they were making lots of money from it. And now the product's actually well written. Like as I said before, Vince McMahon used to write it, and he was going to be senile, so he forgets what happened a week before, repeat storylines or make storylines make no sense. Now Triple H is writing it, the storylines seem to be making more sense and they're more entertaining and more well written. As I said, very Game of Thrones-esque, some of it.
Yeah.
So highly recommend watching some wrestling. If you've fallen off wrestling over the last couple of years, I'd highly recommend trying it out. If you're not interested in WWE, AEW is also a very good promotion that's been built up in the last couple of years as well. All Elite Wrestling, so that's another option for you out there.
I heard of that.
I would recommend trying either of them out. Watch a couple of episodes, see what you think. I think WWE's got a lot better the last couple of years. It's definitely improved a lot.
So I've got a question for you. Now, I think the chances are there's a lot of viewers in the UK who may not be able to worried whether they may not be able to catch that, because it's easy to see in the US because of a Peacock and the WWE network. So I just don't know how people watch it in the UK.
So yeah, the WWE network is available here in the UK. It's £10 a month. I used to have the WWE network, but now I have Peacock because I got a VPN and I use Peacock. So Peacock is $5 a month, so it's super cheap. But it's £10 a month for the WWE network, which is considerably cheaper than paying for Sky Sports and paying £20 to watch the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, that's
how much it used to cost. So I would just get the WWE network, £10 a month. I think they also have a free trial, so highly recommend trying out the free trial if you can. WWE Network is available in the UK. Peacock is available in America, and it's much cheaper. You have all the access to it on Peacock. You get a better service with WWE Network, but it's like double the price. So it's better off just getting Peacock if you can get it. I would get Peacock personally.
And if you don't mind VPNs as well. But
with Peacock, I watch wrestling and I watch all my Premiership football. So, and it's like a fraction of the price. Whereas over here in the UK, if you want to watch Premiership football, it's £70 a month to watch Premiership football, and then it's another like £10-15 a month to get wrestling, and then another 10-15, and then like £20 for pay-per-views. It's nuts. So you're better off getting a VPN and Peacock, and it works out much cheaper. Just a little tip there.
Well, if you have any other tips to see wrestling, like Wrestlemania, let us know in the comments below. I think it's just there's a chances that people might be coming over from Potato Pro Wrestling to see this video. So I think it's just pretty much bringing the best of both worlds. Don't you think?
Yeah, so if you're new here, Xbox the Box is our Xbox podcast. We talk about Xbox games on a weekly basis, and we talk about other stuff as well. Like this week, we talk about the reality TV show Rise and Fall, and Red Dwarf, and Ted Lasso. So we talk about random stuff. We have a lot of fun talking about that on our podcast. And Resident Evil was our topic of the show. So if you're new here, check that out. I hope you'll enjoy it. If you haven't heard of Potato Pro Wrestling, that's my channel. I do separately, where I react to all the latest news in professional wrestling. Do my SmackDown and Raw reactions every week, and I do my pay-per-view reactions, and I do reviews and previews and all sorts of stuff and discussions. So if you like professional wrestling, check out Potato Pro Wrestling. So there you go. Plugs at Xbox Box on Twitter, at Potatochief on Twitter. There you go. Covered everything. That's it. Done. That's all my plugs.
Cool. So we're going to wrap this up.
Ninja.
Yeah. This is definitely a subject to be covered in outside the box. And I'm very glad that we have got the time to do that. So thank you for listening. And if you've got the means to see it, check out Wrestlemania and see whether the women or Cody gets to take the title, and I think this is going to be very dramatic. But yeah, also follow Potato Pro Wrestling for all the reactions. So yeah, so with that said, thank you for listening and take care. Bye.
Hey, sweet. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.